Hey everyone, and welcome. So, if you're looking to build serious production grade AI agents on AWS, you've probably realized you're at a bit of a fork in the road. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. You've got the idea, you know what you want to build something powerful, something that's going to scale and really make an impact. But which paths do you actually take? Do you go for a fully managed service, or do you grab an open source framework and build it yourself? Let's figure that out together.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start by introducing the two main paths available. Then we'll dive deep into their core philosophies, this whole orchestration versus model first idea. We'll look at what it's actually like to be a developer on each one, and then the important part, see the real world results in production. After that, we'll give you a clear framework for making your decision. And stick around, because at the end, we'll reveal the secret foundation that actually ties all of this together. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about the two main paths to building AI agents and meet our contenders on AWS. And here they are. In one corner, you have Bedrock Agents. This is the managed service. Think of it as the all-inclusive, configuration-driven path designed to get you up and running fast. In the other corner, we have the Strands Agents SDK. This is your open-source code-first framework. It's all about giving you maximum control, total portability, a real developer's toolkit. So this brings us to the real heart of the difference between these two. It's this idea of orchestration versus model first. And this isn't just some technical jargon. It's really a tale of two completely different core philosophies. Bedrock Agents is what we call orchestration first. And I love this analogy. It's like a guided tour. Basically, the agent's runtime, the engine, is completely managed by AWS. Your job is to define what the agent can do, give it access to APIs, point it to knowledge bases, but AWS handles how it gets the job done, using that powerful React pattern for all the reasoning and actions. You set the destination, AWS drives the bus. Strands, on the other hand, is model first, the custom road trip. Here, the large language model itself is in the driver's seat. The entire agent is defined by just three simple things: the model, the tools you give it, and the prompt you start it with. All the logic, all the complex reasoning, it just emerges naturally from the model. You're basically handing the keys to the model and saying, you know where to go. So it all comes down to a trade-off, right? With Bedrock Agents, you get speed because it hides a ton of complexity, but you are working exclusively within the Bedrock ecosystem. With Strands, you get that deep code-level control. You can use any model provider you want and run it anywhere. But you've got to have the Python skills to back it up. Okay, let's move on from theory and talk about what this feels like in practice. Let's look at the developer's workflow. What's it actually like to get your hands dirty and build with these frameworks? This table breaks it down perfectly. For setup, Bedrock is all about clicking in the console or using infrastructure as code. Strands? It's just a pip install. Defining a tool in Bedrock means writing out a whole open API schema. In Strands, it's a simple, elegant @tool decorator in Python. But look at testing, because this is a huge difference. With Bedrock, you're waiting minutes for a full deployment to test a change. With Strands, you're testing locally in seconds with hot reload. You can immediately see who this appeals to. Ops teams might love Bedrock, while Python developers are going to feel right at home with Strands.
And this quote from the AWS team that built Strands, it's so revealing. They said, LangChain started to get in our way. They found that as the models themselves got smarter and smarter, these heavily opinionated frameworks were actually holding them back. They needed something singular, something that would just get out of the way and, as they put it, let the model take the strain. And that's really the whole reason Strands even exists.
Okay, that's all great, but what about the results? Let's talk about what happens when these agents hit production. What are the real-world outcomes and the operational realities? And the results for Bedrock Agents are, well, they're staggering. Take DoorDash. They are saving an estimated $3 million every single year on customer support. How? They're using Bedrock Agents to handle hundreds of thousands of calls a day, and that led to a 49% drop in calls that needed to be transferred to a human. That is enterprise scale, right there. And here's another one for Bedrock that just blew my mind. A real estate company, Rexiera, is processing 5 million pages of documents every month. By automating this with Bedrock Agents, they saw a 99% reduction in manual processing. It just goes to show you the raw power of that managed orchestration for these big, repetitive workflows. Now, let's switch gears and look at Strands. The team behind a huge internal product, Amazon Q Developer, used Strands to ship a production-ready agent in just 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
They noted that with more traditional frameworks, this would have taken them months. That's just incredible developer velocity.
And this one is just jaw-dropping. A global trading platform built a tool with Strands to help with internal investigations. Now get this. A complex process that used to take a highly skilled analyst 30 minutes to complete was cut down to 45 seconds. That's a 99% reduction in time with a 94% improvement in quality. It's a perfect example of how the control and speed of Strands can deliver absolutely massive operational wins.
So, with those incredible results in mind, let's get down to brass tacks. How do you decide? Let's build a practical framework for choosing your path. Okay, so you should probably choose Bedrock Agents if you prioritize a fully managed, hands-off infrastructure. If you need to deploy something really fast, we're talking hours or days. If you prefer clicking around a console to writing code. If your team doesn't have deep Python or DevOps skills, and if you're building pretty standard enterprise workflows and you're okay with the trade-off of being in the Bedrock ecosystem.
Now, on the flip side, you're going to want to go with the Strands Agents SDK if you need that granular, line-by-line code control, if you absolutely must support different model providers, or maybe even deploy outside of AWS, if your team is full of strong Python and DevOps engineers, and if you're building a highly specialized custom agent where that open-source flexibility is just non-negotiable.
But just when you think you've made your choice, this is where the story gets really, really interesting. Because it turns out this isn't a zero-sum game. Let's talk about the unifying foundation.
Because we've all felt this pain, right? This is the classic enterprise dilemma. You pick a framework, you commit to it, and then you start building. But in the back of your mind, there's always that risk. What if we chose wrong? What if our needs change in a year and we have to switch? That is a very expensive problem.
And this is AWS's strategic and frankly brilliant answer to that problem. Amazon Bedrock Agent Core. Don't think of this as yet another framework. Think of it as the foundational runtime, the secure, scalable engine that both of these approaches and others can run on top of.
So Agent Core is what unifies everything. It provides these enterprise-grade features for any agent. Things like secure session isolation using micro VMs, an absolutely industry-leading 8-hour execution window for really long-running tasks. And you get all this observability and logging right out of the box. The key is, it supports any framework, Strands, LangGraph, whatever you want, and any model provider, whether it's Bedrock, OpenAI, or Google. It even enables agents to talk to each other. It's the common ground that de-risks your choice. And that really brings us to the final big picture question. Is the future of AI going to be about finding one single framework to rule them all? Or is it about creating a unified platform that gives you the freedom to always choose the right tool for the right job without getting locked in? It seems pretty clear which future AWS is betting on.